Hello, how are you? Oh my goodness, I am so excited. I am so excited to be here today on Mentor Monday. My name is Natasha Roberson, and I am excited to talk to you guys about automating your social media to engage on autopilot. You've been seeing it all over the place, but I'm just going to take you back to when everybody started automating and my initial reaction, my initial thoughts, my initial opinion was automation takes the human out of it. And that's not going to scale your business. You have to have human interaction and human connection and all of these things. Well, I have been shown that is not the actual truth. And over time, I started to automate some things in my business. And what I found was I didn't lose my voice. I didn't lose my authenticity. I didn't lose the connection with individuals. I gained time. I gained respect and professionalism. I gained the comments of, wow, thank you so much for getting back to me so fast. Without autopilot, I was lagging on the response back because I don't ever want to live on my phone, right? We know that in social marketing, we're posting on social media. That's where our marketing platform is. That's where we're promoting everything we have to offer and ourselves. But in order to keep up with the statistics to get the results we want, which I'm going to go over here in just a minute, I have like this like weird cough. So if I cough during the thing, don't mind me. Okay. Can't get rid of it for some reason. It just this morning I drank something and it went down the wrong pipe. All right. So I'm going to talk to you about those statistics here in a bit, but knowing that the statistics are what they are, and it taking me an hour, 3 hours, 5 hours, or longer to respond to somebody's call to action, right? Their want in what they just read, watched, or seen, which is the same as watch. My response time sucked. I don't know if you are in the same boat, but that's where I was. And so even though my opinions were like, oh gosh, everybody's gonna know it's a autopilot, it's an autoresponder, and they're not gonna take me serious. That was what I thought. What I have found is that is absolutely false. People were more appreciative that I got back to them right away. They were more appreciative that they didn't have to wait to go find the answers to what they want. They're more appreciative that they didn't have to go to Google or go ask 5 more people to get a response. They were grateful that I had a response out to them and that then I could become the interaction, the communicator, right? So when I talk about your social media responses to turn them onto autopilot, I don't mean take you out of it. I mean get something, a system in place that initiates the conversation so you don't lose their interest, and then you become the communicator as soon as that's happened, right? You're now in the inbox, you're in the DMs. Yes, have some fun over there. Be you, answer them, right? But let your autopilot system start it. Then you don't have to live on your phone 24/7. Then you don't have to know that inside you're like, "Oh, I'm missing so many opportunities because I don't want to look at my phone. I'm going to leave it in the car so I'm fully present at baseball," right? You don't have to ever worry about that anymore. Okay. So let's dive in. If you are like, yes, this is exactly what I need, then you're going to love this. So, my name is Natasha Roberson. I have been in business for almost 18 years. I know I don't look that young. I'm just joking. Um, but I've been in business for 18 years. I started in traditional business, turned to online space because I seen the global impact I could make. And I wasn't limited to just a small zip code. I could expand my impact. And so from there, I was introduced then to the network marketing world. And I was like, what is this beast? Right. And really dove in as a student, and I learned and was blessed to have a journey of making millions, but more importantly, impacting millions. And impacting people is my purpose. I want to impact as many people as possible. And that impact is just helping them become a better version of themselves each and every single day. If that means increasing their income, increasing their self-talk, their self-development, their emotional intelligence, whatever that is, impacting individuals is my purpose. And so in that journey, I was a 1% top network marketing earner, had a team of over 15,000 individuals, over 800,000 customers, which is insane when you think about those numbers. And if you don't have systems in place, it's gonna crash. And so I want to teach you how to handle all of that, grow that, become that. And our team scaled the moment I started to implement systems. And that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, is a system that automates your engagement on autopilot. Okay. So along with that, I've been a high performance coach for 13 years and coached thousands of individuals. And it's absolutely a pleasure, because just to see them grow 1% each day towards the human that I know they're capable of being, the impact they're capable of having, it's been an absolute pleasure. And to be here as the COO here at Self-Made, and the business launch strategist and marketing expert, this is my space. This is where I love to live. So, here's the deal. It is so important to, number one, have content consistently out there on social media. That's your storefront. That's your business. That's when people know you're open for business. They can see what you are offering, right? You don't want to be spammy, salesy. You want to provide value. We don't teach the front end. We don't teach the content. You all have been taught for years all the content. What you haven't been taught is the backside. What happens once they say more info? How do we make that better? How do we make that more efficient? How do we make that into more conversions? That's what we're here to do. So let me just share with you, 78% of customers buy from the company that responds to their first inquiry. 78% of customers will buy from the company or individual that responds to them first. And if you're not able to respond to their inquiry, right? More info, tell me more, drop this, give me that, right? They're going to go somewhere else, right? Our attention span is so short that if I'm looking for something, I just did this last week, you guys. This is crazy. So I was I was waiting on a individual to send me a link to something I wanted to buy. I wanted to buy it like right then. I wanted it shipped out that day. Well, I was patient. I waited about an hour. That's patience these days, you guys. Like, most people won't even wait an hour to get what they're wanting, right? Because we're so used to being able just to go to Google or go to Amazon, type in what we want. There it is. It's shipped to our door in like 2 days. Okay. Amazon sometimes gets it to my house in 1 day, the same day. But so it's about an hour later. And I'm like, man, I'm right. I want to check that off my brain. I want to say I bought that, it's done, it's shipped. Well, that person never got back to me. And I sent them 2 more messages within that hour, like, hey, just seeing if you can shoot me that link. I can't find it on literally couldn't find it on their Facebook, couldn't find it on their Instagram, couldn't find it anywhere. And I wanted to give them credit. Well, and I as much as I wanted to wait for their link to give them credit and for them to earn the income from it, I literally jumped on Amazon and typed in the product I wanted, and voila, there it was for the same price. And it was probably going to ship to me faster. So they lost my business, not because I didn't want the product, but because they didn't respond to me fast enough. And that's just reality, you guys. That is just reality. If I'm doing it, I know others are doing it. And so 78% of people, customers, individuals are going to buy from the first company that responds to their inquiry. And if they don't get a response, they're going to go find it where they can just push a button and buy it. Okay. So the second statistics I want to share with you is response time on social media affects customer satisfaction. Absolutely. Companies that respond within an hour are 7 times more likely to have satisfied customers compared to those that take longer. That's a given fact, right? Nothing against the person that didn't respond to me. Life is crazy. Life is busy. And I understand that. I am a business owner that doesn't like to be on my phone, but they didn't have anything on autopilot that could give me a response immediately so I could go do what I wanted to do. Now, if I had questions, as soon as I have questions, my patience level for that response time goes up because now I'm actually waiting. I know I'm waiting on a human for sure to be answering me. But if I'm just wanting more info, I typed more info in the comment, then I know the capabilities of tech and I know how inexpensive it is and how simple it is to set up that I'm expecting that. So waiting an hour for just a more info response was, I didn't want to wait any longer, right? So you definitely want to have those quicker response times, and putting that stuff on autopilot does not take you, the human, out of it. It actually gives higher customer service, higher customer satisfaction, higher conversion rates because people have what they need unless they have additional questions, right? Or they're just not ready to buy yet. So then they go into a follow-up touch plan. All right. So I want to share, my notes are over to the side. So if you see me looking over here, it's just because I want to make sure I cover everything that I want to cover with you guys. So if you see me looking over there, it's just my notes on the computer. So what are the benefits of automating your social media response? Listen, it's going to increase your efficiency. Bottom line, it's going to save you time. It's going to handle those initial inquiries, those initial, depending on what your call to action was, depending on what your content was that led them to sending a message or dropping a comment, it's going to answer that. It's going to provide those responses that are necessary. And it's going to allow more focus on the complex tasks like the in-depth questions. Like if you're in health and wellness, if somebody is like, get more info, you give them the basic information that they're going to need. But then they're like, but I'm like type 1 diabetic and I have high cholesterol and I don't sleep good at night and da 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 da. Is this still going to work for me? Well, because you're not spending the time answering the initial inquiry, you now have more time to spend on the complex, customized responses. You're not doing both. You're just doing the one, saving you time, right? Right. 24/7 engagement. This year in the world that we live in today, wildly enough, somebody's awake in the middle of the night, let's say 3 a.m., and they comment, they're kind of in a McDonald's fast food world of, why are they getting back to me? It's just reality, you guys. So even outside of business hours, they're expecting a response pretty quickly. And it allows you to have consistency. Automation, putting things on autopilot, provides a consistent brand voice and an experience for all customers. No one's left behind. No one falls in the cracks into the leaky bucket. And then you go, oh my gosh, did I even respond to that person? Now it's been 2 weeks. What do I say? How do I like call the elephant out in the room that I suck? That's what I used to say. I used to say this, you guys, because I messed up and failed so much at follow-up. And because I hated being on my phone all the time. I did, but I loved impacting individuals. So I had this like torn thing, right? Well, if I realized I didn't respond to somebody that commented 2 weeks ago or whatever, I'm like, oh my gosh, I absolutely suck. I am so sorry. I did not even see your comment. I apologize. I'm sure by now you found your answers. You already ordered what you were looking to order. And I just wanted to message you and say, I am sorry. I would call it out. Well, I don't have to do that anymore because I turn things on autopilot for that initial response. And I want that for you guys. And it's scalable, you guys. Like everybody's like, I want to scale my business. And I'm like, all right, awesome. You're one person. Do you have systems and automation in place for the things that can be offloaded from you that doesn't need you to manually do it at that moment? Is there things in your business that you can turn on autopilot, that you can put a system in place, right? You want to be able to easily manage the number of inquiries, the number of responses, the number of comments, especially in this day and age when a random reel can go viral. Now you're stuck in the couch, ignoring your family because you're like, I gotta answer all these people. Well, you do, but let's make it more simple, right? Okay. So automated, we use a system called the Self-Made Hub. If you haven't seen and heard about it, where have you been? No, anywho, you can check it out at self-made.biz. And you can check out all the things, but this is why we created the one small part reason why we created the Self-Made Hub is because we knew business owners like ourselves that are social marketers putting all of our stuff out on social media need systems in place that automate a few things so we can scale and we don't miss out on opportunities. Bottom line, right? So we wanted a place where it was all in one. So you could create a autopilot workflow that goes this post, they comment this, reply this, send them this in the DMs, and let's go. I wanted that all on autopilot, and that is what we've created here. So you can set up automated replies to a comment, right? So you ever wonder, man, how does this person respond to everybody? The person that's crushing it online, and you're looking at their stuff and they're like, wow, they didn't miss a single individual. It's because that response is on autopilot. And then you're wondering, like, man, but they didn't say the same thing every time, or they did say the same thing every time. Here's the kicker. I love this. I'm now to a point where if somebody's doing it correctly, I cannot tell it's on autopilot. I can, but I can't. Because when it's manual, what happens? They copy paste the same response. Have you seen that? You've probably done it. I used to. You would copy the same response all the way through. Well, listen, with the system, you can have 20 replies. So if they say book as the call to action, you can have 20 different randomized. They're going to randomize how they respond to these people. It's going to be 20 different ones. People would not even be able to tell that it was on autopilot, that you didn't write that, because it's so different every response that they're like, oh, this is amazing. She is on the ball. Yeah, she is. She created some automation so her business could scale, so her business could give the customer service that every single person deserves, right? And then not only that, but with the system, you can have that automatically respond, but then also send them a DM immediately. Or you can have it wait 10 seconds or 1 minute or 4 minutes. You can choose. Wait 4 minutes, send them a DM. What feels more human, right? Because at the end of the day, yes, I love to automate things, but I also like for people to have a normal experience. Oh, somebody responded to me. Cool. Oh, within a couple minutes, they sent me a DM. That it makes sense, right? That seems like somebody could have done that in that amount of time. It doesn't feel as automated. And that's right, it's an experience. So in that DM, you can send them what they're looking for based off of your content, right? You can schedule your posts. Who doesn't love to have their business scheduled out? Now, not all things are scheduled out as far as posts, reels, and things like that. But if you want to have a life in this day and age of social marketing, you're going to have to learn how to schedule and automate things. Bottom line. So if you're watching this and you haven't started doing those two, we here for you. We got you. We got you. We got you. And then have a list of key triggers, right? Those call to actions, those words that you want to use. Like here with Self-Made Hub, we have automate, we have convert, we have book, we have action, we have start now, right? We have these key words. And when we know when our call to action on social media is any one of those, we immediately know what's happening on the back end that's going to turn autopilot on as soon as that word is mentioned on our social media. As soon as that word is dropped in a comment, we know what's happening every single time. Every time. We can be sleeping, we can be on an airplane, we could be at a baseball game, a football game, a basketball game. We could be completely out for a day, having a day with our family, and we know our business is still running. I want that for you, right? So how do you get to this point? How do you set up this automation, this autopilot? Well, first you got to choose the right tool. I'll tell you what, before the Self-Made Hub, I had nine pieces of tech that I duct taped together, zapped it all together, and hoped it worked. Now today, you don't need all of those all over the place. We have an all-in-one platform with mentors, right? I had all the platforms, not all in one, but I had all the platforms and no mentors that could help me with any of it. So here at the Self-Made Hub, I hope you choose us. It's the right tool. It's the best tool. It is going to give you all the things you need and mentorship. Mentorship, right? And you want to make sure you want to define your goals. So every time that you're like, okay, how do I turn this up autopilot? Always think, what result do I want? Always thinking of the end in mind, right? You always want to think, what do I want them to do? And how do I work backwards to that to get them to that? So you want to define those goals, whether that's you want to attract new people, that's with your content. I want lead gen. So what am I offering for free? What is that call to action that's going to get them to take action? What is it going to increase that engagement and customer support? You want to think through your, response templates, meaning as soon as they comment book, what are you saying? Think through those, develop those, write them out. You want to set up some triggers, meaning like, what are the trigger words, right? You can have all of these things set up. So when you go online, here's my 5 keywords. Anytime I have them do call to action of these 5 things, I got that set on autopilot. I know it's going to work. That doesn't mean every single post, every single reel that you are creating automation off of. Sometimes you just want to have some fun. You just want to share some life, some family fun, some excitement. And it's not always a call to action, but when you do the call to actions, you can have that all set on autopilot, right? And then you always want to test it and refine it. We adjust all the time, right? We're like, all right, this is what we're going to put out there. This is the book. We're going to offer Jess's free chapter of her book, which if you have not, you want to head over to her Instagram, find that post there's many posts about the book, but drop book in the comment and get your free chapter. And you'll get to experience our autopilot, right? So go over to I am Jess Green on Instagram, comment book on any of her posts, and it's going to give you a free chapter of her book. Okay. But every single time we're looking at what's working, what isn't, how can we adjust our language, our comments, our replies, our DMs, so we can scale, we can close more deals, right? And you always want to have refining your practices, right? You always want to know like what's happening in the world of social marketing. What are the best practices for automation? And my biggest best practices, the advice I can give you is personalize anywhere you possibly can. So if I can put their name in it, if I can put their Susie, thank you so much for commenting. If I can personalize a response, if I can personalize a DM, I am going to personalize it. Using the customer's name is a very, very big thing. It increases their likability. They're like, oh, like if I get an email that says Natasha, I'm like, what? I'm clicking on it, right? They got my attention. So personalize when you can, right? Monitor and always adjust. That is important. Those are big best practices. Don't just set it and forget it. Set it and just monitor it, because at the end of the day, you want results. And if the results aren't happening, there's small adjustments within that can be done that will increase your results. Those tiny little adjustments is all it takes to take something that's working to, holy crap, that's working like crazy, right? And one of the biggest things I'll say, because in the beginning, like I told you, I was kind of like, I'm not sure if I want to automate my business. This was back in the day. You want to balance automation with human touch. It is so critical. Don't just automate everything. We're not here to be a robot. That's not why we created Self-Made. That's not how we use automation, but we do use automation to increase our time freedom and our efficiency of response to our customers. Okay, we do, but there is a balance between human touch, right? So we want to make sure that we have a clear path for customers to reach human interaction. So for me, just to give you an example, if somebody commented on one of my posts, the call to action, the response is automated, the DM is automated. I am then notified, so-and-so just requested information. I come into the picture, and because in my DM, I always ask a question. I want engagement. I'm giving them what they're asking for, but I end with a question because that increases your engagement, right? It increases that conversation. So because I then got notified that Susie wanted more information, boom, I look at my DMs. I'm like, okay, cool. Susie just answered it this way. Now I can come in and I can talk to Susie. I don't have to watch my social media. I'm only in my messenger. Then, depending on how Susie responds, what she asks, I can send her on another path of automation because she's like, oh my gosh, I would really, really, really love your, 10 tips to losing 5 pounds in the next 2 weeks. I can give her a link to go get my free lead magnet. That is that. Now she goes on my list, my CRM, building my list outside of social media. Now I moved her over here. She's getting what she wants. And I have a customer journey of X amount of touches that she's going to get because this was her interest. I'm going to give her the freebie, but I'm also going to touch her probably every, couple days because we all know fortune's in the follow-up. I haven't asked her to buy anything yet. I gave her something of value, but I am going to take her on a journey for her to purchase something. Make sense? That's all on autopilot. All while I can still be conversing with her in Messenger because I set that up to ask a question. So now I can get to know her while this automation is going on. Right? Crazy. And then, here's the deal. We know how important automation is. At the end of the day, you have to make a decision. Are you going to infuse technology into your business so you can autopilot, automate, so you can autopit two in my head and I can't say both at the same time. So you can put things on autopilot and truly have time freedom without sacrificing your business growth? Or are you going to stay stuck in your ways of like, a human touch is important? You have a reel go viral and you can't keep up. So then people go elsewhere, even though they asked you first. When you respond to them finally 3 days later, that you're like, oh gosh, yeah, sorry, but I already went to see Susie Q, who was able to get me her link right away. That hurts. I've had it done to me. And that's why I was like, listen, I got to do this. I have to do this, right? So I want to encourage you to implement automation with balance of human touch. I'm not saying take the human out of it. I'm saying increase your opportunities and increase your impact because the more you can automate those initial things, getting them their initial information they're requesting, your numbers are going to go up. Your customer service, what people rave about you for, is going to go up. You're no longer going to hear, oh gosh, I reached out to Natasha and it took her 2 weeks to get back to me. Nobody wants that said about them. Nobody, right? I came across somebody years ago and I was at an event and they came up to me and I didn't know this person. And they're like, oh my gosh, it was so awesome to meet you. And I'm like, hi, I reached out to you a year ago and you never responded to me. I'm like, oh my God, that's the worst. I had that happening so often because I refused to be on my phone all the time, but I was missing opportunities and I was definitely not impacting every single person that was looking for impact, that was looking for change in their life. And I felt horrible. So when automation came into my world, I was hesitant, but I was open because it wasn't about me. It wasn't about me getting more time and not having to be on my phone. It was, man, I'm letting these people down because I am not responding to them fast enough, or I'm missing them completely. I felt horrible, the fact that I wasn't responding, that I was leaving them in the dark. That's not who I am. That's not my core. And so automation needed to be put in place so I didn't miss those individuals and help them. Even if they never became a buying customer of me at all, my core is saying I must always respond because I feel so deep on that of people deserve change. They deserve impact. They deserve a path they can go down. They deserve an answer. And so that is exactly why I'm doing this training, is because I want you to not look at automation as a robot, but as a benefit to you, but more importantly, a benefit to you, those individuals that are ready to say yes, because the response is going to happen now you come in and you have that human touch with them. If you're like, I need this, this is exactly what I need. I don't even know what the heck you're talking about of like this tool called Self-Made Hub. If you're like, I need this automation in my life, I realize how important it will be, and I need to set this up like now, then all you need to do is go to self-made.biz/start now, right? So self-made.biz, self-made.biz/start now, and get your 14-day free access. Let us not only show you how to set this tech up, how to increase your opportunities, your conversions, your impact, your income, but get 14 days of free access to look under the hood, get started with us, and make a decision before day 15 to go, I need this. This is bigger than I could ever even imagine. Like, I can't even think of all the things that I can do in this thing because it is all in one platform, unlimited. I'm not going to go into that, but you can go to self-made.biz/start now and go ahead and get your 14-day free trial. With that, I hope you enjoyed today's training. I hope you start putting automation into your business. And I personally cannot wait to celebrate your success.